Good morning. Happy Saturday the 30th. How are you? I hope you're doing all right. I'm going to be outside a little bit. Have my sundress on so I can stay cool as possible. I don't have any serious digging to do, so I don't have to wear breeches. I lost my glasses. Hold on, I'm going to grab them over here. I like to stay organized, but that doesn't always work. Okay, let's read. See what blasphemy we can get into today. It says, our primary purpose. The more AA sticks to its primary purpose, the greater its helpful influence, the greater will be its helpful influence everywhere. It is with gratitude that I reflect on the early days of our fellowship and those wise and loving four-steppers who proclaimed that we should not be diverted from our primary purpose, that of carrying the message to the alcoholic who still suffers. I desire to impart respect to those who labor in the field of alcoholism, being ever mindful that AA endorses no causes other than its own. I must remember that AA has no monopoly on miracle making, and I remain humbly grateful to a loving God who made AA possible. Amen. You know, it's funny that I like I must remember that AA has no monopoly on miracle making. But I'm grateful. I remain humbly grateful to a loving God who made AA possible. And a loving God who made all kinds of other things possible. But it's true, AA is not for everybody. There are people who go to one meeting and say it's a cult. Go to one meeting and say all they do is sit around and talk about drunk stories. That it's racist. What else have I heard? It just made me want to drink more. They have too many rules. All of these things are, I get it. And it's okay that somebody thinks that. I'm not calling them, contempt prior to investigation is probably the closest I would say, is to have that strong of an emotion towards cough syrup. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to take that. I'd rather take anything else than that. Tea with lemon. I don't like lemon. There's always something they don't like that makes them just a little uncomfortable. And then all of a sudden it's contempt. I've watched people all my life. I watched a lady one time. Matter of fact, it was an ex-mother-in-law. She was so smart in so many ways. And she was adorable. Just almost like a Betty Boop. And she raised two boys who were my age at the time. Let's see, we were in our 30s. And late 30s, I think. And she had never seen avocado before. And she wasn't sure what's the sour. We went to a restaurant. And so it was a nice Tex-Mex kind of restaurant up in Montana or something. I don't remember exactly, but it was one of those kind of fancy chain Mexican restaurants kind of feel. I don't remember if it was a chain, but the food is good. It is beautiful. I like true Mexican food, but I also really enjoy Tex-Mex. it's just so colorful and clean. Here's a bowl of onions, a bowl of tomatoes, a bowl of lettuce, a bowl of cheese, a bowl of sour cream, a bowl of guacamole, and here's your bowl of tortillas. I just love that. Anyway, so we were all putting food on our plate, and she had ordered something different. Hers came with rice and beans on the plate. I think my husband then was ordered for her so she could try something really new. But when it came, she was like, oh, it just took time. What's that? Took time. And just watching her made me hold my breath, like that timid, like, oh, just astonished of what's on my plate. I mean, you could just feel the thought bubbles. And that's where it's like contempt prior to investigation. It might not be hatred, but it might be fantastical, or it might be shocking, even though they're not shocked. I mean, how can you be shocked by food, or shocked by just sitting in a friendly meeting where people openly invite you in, hand you a cup of coffee, show you to a seat, shake your hand? So it's just interesting to me. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just trying to share with you that there's a difference between wanting help and looking for excuses. Matter of fact, I'm going to change the subject up a little bit. In my business, there's a type of person who truly wants help, and then there's a type of person who just wants out of trouble, right? That goes for all kinds of behaviors. There are people who truly fit the personality of AA, recovery type programs. And that is whether it's for alcohol, drugs, porn, gambling, eating. It's just the daily readings might be different for those different programs if you can find a separate program, because it fits it just sort of like fine tunes the fit. But the steps are the same. And if somebody truly wants to quit saying pornography, you have to figure out, are you really powerless? Have you really tried everything to stop? Are you being honest with yourself? And if you have tried everything, your willpower won't do it. Changing your schedule, getting rid of your computer, but you end up doing it anyway. Or masturbation. You know, try to go to bed earlier, try to work more hours, but you end up sneaking off and masturbating anyway. There are some people who can just struggle with being able to stop. If you came to believe that a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity, that means any body, place, or thing might be able to help you. If you can't do it yourself, if your life has become unmanageable, can you admit that? And then can you admit then, if you can't do it, maybe somebody else can help you. Some other people, place, or thing might be able to help. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm not going to church. It's like, I don't care if you go to church. I don't care if you go to AA. But like the reading said, there's AA doesn't have a monopoly on recovery. There are a lot of different ways out there. But if you're still suffering, you might want to give it a chance. That's all I'm saying. There's there are some behaviors that can stay in the dark for a long time. And porn actually is one of them. Porn and pills, because they're so easily hidden from the public eye, right? So maybe people just know there's something off with you, but they don't know exactly what. And you can bullshit them. Sorry. You can pull the wool over their eyes for a long time. Because and gaslighting, oh, that's a favorite. People love to gaslight. To turn the tables around. Especially when it comes to something that you don't want to give up no matter what. Kind of like Lord of the Rings. Oh, my precious. You want to hold on to it. And you even kind of feel dark sometimes. Sometimes people don't realize what they're doing, but sometimes people do. And it turns into a game. How secret can I keep this, and for how long? Sometimes if you just admit that's what you're doing to yourself, no one else, you might be heading towards step 1 and step 2 of the AA recovery program. The reason these addictions like porn and masturbating and pills, eating, gambling, is because it's so easy to keep them in secret. So easy to keep them in secret. Keep them hidden. So it's easy for you to say, I'm not bothering anybody. Why don't they just get off my back? I shouldn't have to feel guilty about indulging in this when they're doing that. It's lots of gaslighting ourselves. When you're lying to yourself, you don't even know it. So when people say, how am I supposed to stop this masturbating? How am I supposed to stop this porn? Because they realize it, they just keep going back to it. Sometimes it's as easy as staying so busy with people in recovery from the same thing or something similar, hearing their stories, so you can hear all the little things they do or stop doing that are helpful. To watch other people try and fail is helpful, because then you start pulling in that judgmental part of ourselves that says, well, why didn't they blah, blah, blah. And then when you do it one of these days, you'll go, oops, maybe I should listen to my own medicine, right? It's kind of funny. Changing an adored behavior, changing that is hard. It's difficult. You have to force yourself to change it. And that's the problem, is people expect things to be easy. When we touch ourselves, for example, there's a smell that happens, like a pheromone, thank you, that happens. And we don't even know what we're smelling. We just know that it makes our nostrils flare a little bit. So not only are we smelling, and maybe some people use mirrors, so you're seeing, and you're touching, and you're feeling. So that's a lot of activity in the brain. So to be able to withdraw from that, whether it's sex addiction with another person or sex addiction with yourself, and then also, so if you're going to stop doing that, you have to take, how big is this hole that I need to fill? If I take out all this behavior, all this activity, if I take that away, that leaves a hole this big in me. How do I fill that up? That means you have to stay busy. Learning, doing your homework, working the material in the book, going to meetings. You have to be able to fill in that time with something productive. And when you have cravings, you have to be able to meet it with something that's going to be helpful. And usually that is, visiting with someone else about the same problems. Go, oh, I'm really having cravings right now. Just be honest about it, and you can help each other. We can help each other. I need to do something about these eyebrows. My gosh, who in the world, man? My hair grows so fast. I don't know why. Anyway, people think recovery is easy, but it's not. And then there's all that shame attached to it. And the thing is, here's the deal. I met a guy, God bless him. He's passed now. I was so sad to hear that. He was very handsome and funny and helpful. He was a nice guy. Everybody liked him. But he had been married 5 times before he passed. Maybe 6. Maybe he did it one more time after I moved away. I don't know. But he always had a woman in his life who adored him for a while. So I imagine he had a lot of the same issues that I have with relationships. They're hard if you've come from a traumatic, abusive background. It's hard to trust, and it's hard to not be triggered and act out. It's hard to be triggered and act in, shut down. I know that there are people who have shared that they've been kidnapped and been able to find themselves and have a good, loving relationship and go on to have positive careers. But normally they came from a very stable childhood, very encouraging, stable, loving, safe childhood. And that helps anybody almost recover from trauma much, much easier. The one thing too about addiction is when you go to meetings, you're with other people who may match your background. Either it was loving and supportive, so maybe recovery will be a little easier for you. It's AA is not a life sentence if you don't want it to be. I allow it to be because it helps keep me on track. And I get the pleasure, the blessing of helping others. It was freely given to me. It was freely given to me. And my God, $1 a meeting in the basket if you're feeling like you can afford it. You can't get therapy that cheap. And really AA is like group therapy led by someone in the group, not by a facilitator. Yeah. Someone said, what is it? Insane asylum is run by the insane. I don't know. But it works. Not always perfectly. Do not come to AA if you're expecting perfection. It's kind of like going to church and expecting the preacher to be perfect. You just have to find the right church with the right preacher. You go to different churches, find the right preacher. That's what I do. I don't go to a church and just hope the preacher's good. I'll go to a church until the preacher is just not teaching me or supporting that which I most need to learn. And if they get into politics on the pulpit, that's very irritating to me. I like to keep it spiritual, not political. If you want to construe politics into the teachings, that's different. Some teachings can be interchangeable. You know what? I'm just yapping. Got a lot to do. It's Saturday, and I have been having a luxury day so far. Why change? Could have gone to a meeting today, but I didn't feel like it. We had house repairs, and so also had the house cleaned, so lots of laundry to catch up on, lots of moving things back, and I love doing that. You know, me and arranging closets. I just love cleaning and arranging things. All right. Anyway, I hope you're having a good one. And if you have any input on addiction or need some help, you can email me or leave a comment. And I was going to say something else. I can't. I guess I'm too divided. I need to get somewhere. All right. Bye for now.